Good morning, Philadelphia. Hey, you know what? Rest if you must. Somebody told me this yesterday, but don't give up. Never give up, man.
What are we not giving up on?
The Eagles.
It's over.
Yeah, I mean, this.
Don't give up on the season, guys.
I don't know.
All right, you know what? I'll let you off for that one. Yeah, I know. It's okay.
I mean, it's just, and it's funny, right? Well, it's not funny, but the immediate, I like to tend to just sit back and just think about what I just saw a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, with the fans and everything, you don't get a chance to do that because it's like it's a knee-jerk reaction. And it's everybody wants to talk. And everybody wants to place blame. Everybody wants to do this.
Oh, I do. I have a lot to do.
Yeah. But I think sometimes that's not the right way to go. We are, what yesterday reminded me of? It's like being in a relationship, right? And you've been with this person and you're trying to work it out or whatever, and you're trying to be positive, and then something happens, and then it just hits the fan. And now it's like the floodgates just open, and every emotion comes out all at once. This is what this is today.
Well, it is, and we have a lot to talk about. 215-592-9494. Hugh Douglas, Joe Gill, Kyle Quinn, of course, behind the glass. All right, so there's a lot to talk about. But one thing that hit me when Nick Sirianni was doing his press conference is, my head last night after the game, like, well, it's the worst show of the year to do every year, right? Like, because it's the elimination show.
It's the end of the year.
But Sirianni,
it's the end of the season.
Yes, Sirianni said something in his press conference last night. It kind of hit me. He said, we didn't do this last year, right? We as fans haven't had one of these shows in 2 years. That's a long time to not have, like, the season is over. It hits, it hurts. We haven't had one of these around here in 2 full years. And it hit last night around 7:30 when Jalen Hurts' fourth down pass was incomplete. It was over. The season is over. Hugh, there's a lot to unpack, and I know you said it's more than just blame, but there is blame, right? There's blame to go around. And the Eagles, to put this in perspective yesterday, and I know you might, as I say this, you're like, come on, really? But it's because I'm going to say something that's the truth. This is the most points. They haven't been favored by this many points and lost a home playoff game in 45 years. 45 years. It was 1981. Yeah, they weren't favored by as many points as they were yesterday against the Bucks or the Panthers. I mean, I know those were worse emotionally, but just in terms of, like, they're supposed to win the game.
Yeah.
They were nearly a touchdown favorite. George Kittle went out of that game. When George Kittle went out of that game,
you felt like it was going to skew your way.
Oh, my goodness. It's 13-7. Yeah. They had just scored. Kittle goes out of the game, and you feel like that team doesn't have the horses. But you know what they did have?
Resilience.
They had resilience. They had better coaching on this day.
And moxie. They had a boom box.
And the boom box. And their players, Hugh, outplayed the Eagles players. Hugh, I know you said it's more than blame game. It is. But as you watched it yesterday, as it unfolded, who do you blame? Like, why are we sitting here in this spot today?
You know what's funny? There's a lot to go around when you talk about this game. But when I think about it, and I think about the way that this game was built and the fact that you had cats for the San Francisco 49ers that got off the streets.
I mean, literally.
We talked about that.
Ridiculous.
That's on coaching, man. We got out-coached yesterday. That is the most glary thing that sticks out to me when you talk about Robert Saleh's defense and their ability to like I said, make the quarterback hold on to the ball. Some of the things they did defensively to I guess, to confuse, deceive, whatever. I think it's the coaches. And the fact that for the last 2 months, we've not been able to score. 21 points, Joe. Not trying to, point out the fact that I told you so.
You're not. We're not. I told you so. On a Monday where we're eliminated.
I'm not. I've told you so. But this is the reality of what happened. This is the equivalent of our chickens coming home to roost.
Well, that's true. I agree with that.
The chickens came home to roost yesterday because we knew what this team was, and every week we act like we didn't know. And yesterday, the chickens came home to roost. 19 points, Joe. That's all we could muster.
Well, it's not enough.
Against a defense that was, by all accounts, second stringers. Second stringers.
Yeah.
A defense that was second stringers against a prolific offense that has at least $150 million allocated to one side of the ball. Probably more than that $200 million when you talk about the tackles and everybody else.
I know.
A lot of bread on that side of the ball. And then you talk about a lot of guys who didn't play a full NFL season. They're getting ready to go on. Where are they going next week? Who are they getting ready to play?
They're going to Seattle.
Seattle. They're getting ready to play the Seahawks. And they feel real good. You know what? I knew something. I was like, these cats right here, this might be a problem. When they came out with that big-ass San Francisco 49ers boombox playing something I ain't never heard of before, and everybody's dancing, and I'm like, yeah, they're playing with house money, and they knew it.
And they played like it. And Hugh, I'm not going to sit here and defend the coaches because the coaches were not good yesterday. I'm not going to do that because I saw the same thing you saw. They were outcoached. I mean, if anyone tries to tell me that Sirianni's a better coach than Shanahan, I just go rewatch the game. Just rewatch the game and then come back because that's a mismatch, okay? Obviously, Patullo, we have kind of felt all year he's in over his head, and that's on Sirianni for hiring him. I thought yesterday Shanahan got the best of Fangio. Now, it wasn't like he got torched, but he got the best of him, and that can happen. It's great versus great, and someone's got to win.
Yeah.
But, Hugh, I don't think the coaches were good enough yesterday. But I also don't think the players were. I can't take the players off the hook. When we went into the week, we knew what the coaching advantage and disadvantage was, right? We all knew that, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knew that, and everyone thought the Eagles would win the game. Why? What did we all say? The Eagles got better players.
Got better talent.
Did the Eagles players play better than the Niners players yesterday? Because that's not what I saw.
But I will say this. I will say this. On one side of the ball, because we look at Quinyon.
Yep.
And his miscues at the beginning of the game. He redeemed himself.
He got 2 picks, yeah.
And this defense, this is what I'm talking about, Joe. This defense gave you 2 gifts.
I know.
With interceptions.
I'm aware.
So with that being said, you were in position to win this game.
I agree.
And so that's why, to me, it's more on coaching.
Well, but I want to say, I just want to point out that the Eagles' best players didn't play well enough yesterday. Yes, Quinyon had 2 picks. He also had a bad first drive. Mm-hmm. I mean, it led to 7 points in a 4-point game. I thought Cooper got beat at times yesterday. I thought Zach Bond was in a blender the entire game. Their best players didn't play well. That's on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And then let's go to the offense, right? That's where the money is. That's what this is all about. A.J. Brown, if that was the end yesterday, what a way to go out because he stunk. I mean, A.J. Brown stunk it up yesterday. Let's just call it for what it was. He stunk yesterday. And now that we're 9 minutes into the show, am I allowed to talk about the quarterback? Because he was outplayed by the other quarterback. And you could say, Joe, Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions. I saw him. He also walked down the field and scored at the end to win the football game. When his team needed him to lead a drive, he led a drive against a real defense. And when the Eagles needed Jalen Hurts to lead a drive, he didn't do enough. He didn't do enough. And you could scream at me all day about Kevin Patullo. I want to go through the last 4 plays because this is when this is the moment, right? It's not about when you're winning by 30 and you throw a dagger touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's not greatness. What greatness is the last minute of the game when everything's on the line. Let me go through the last 4 plays for Jalen Hurts yesterday because I thought the quarterback gave them no chance to win the game. No chance. First down. He scrambles up the middle, tripped up, -1 yard. Second down, he breaks a clean pocket. Brady pointed it out right away on the broadcast. That is a clean pocket. Mm-hmm. He perceived pressure, like he always does, rolls right, throws the ball out of bounds. 2 plays down. Now it's 3rd and 11. Open receiver, Devontae Smith, open on the in-cut, the slant. It is open. I mean, you could yell about Patullo all day and Sirianni. It's Devontae Smith is open. It's a first down, and it is 1st and goal. And he throws the ball 6 inches too high. And could Devontae have caught it? Sure, maybe. I mean, it would have been a great catch. But the ball is high. If he puts it on his chest, the Eagles have a 1st and goal. Jalen Hurts missed. And then the 4th down on 4th and 11, not a great. I mean, I think we all saw the play. It wasn't. Someone wasn't wide open. But once again on the broadcast, Tom Brady, who always seems to praise Jalen Hurts, pointed out he's late. He's late. If you're going to throw the anticipation throw, you can't wait. He waited, and then by then the Niners knew where he was throwing the football, and they just collapsed on it. I thought the last 4 plays by Hurts showed his lack of progression, and I thought they showed his decline. He can't run anymore. He was tripped up. He used to run for that, get 7 or 8 yards. Then he gets tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Throw out of bounds, and then the miss to Devontae Smith. I thought in a game where he wasn't the biggest problem all day, last 4 plays, he's a $50 million quarterback, and he gave them no shot.
Can't argue that, Joe, because I harped on the whole fact last week this weekend, that you got some really good quarterback play and clutch moments from your guys. Yep. You did that.
That's how all the games were won, basically.
I can't argue that. But the receivers didn't help him out. Hey, this is where I'm not blaming AJ because there's enough blame to go around. And the one thing that I will not do this morning is just put this loss all on one person's shoulders. But to me, it starts with the coaching staff. AJ did himself no favors by dropping some key passes during the course of that game. There was a key drops in that game, especially when you've been so vocal about what you've been mad about or alluding to the fact or recklessly speculating that it was all about the quarterback. Now, I give you those last 4 moments of the game. But throughout that whole game, Jalen didn't play bad. He could have played a lot better, especially when you talk about compared to what other quarterbacks did.
It was a lot like his season.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen's been, for lack of a better, Jalen's been Jalen. Jalen's been Jalen. And I can't lay this blame at Jalen's feet, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying.
I just think the players stunk yesterday. Like, what Eagle player played really good football yesterday? Saquon? He had a drop, but he ran pretty well. I mean, again, can we name 2 or 3 Eagles that played great yesterday? Players stunk. They got outplayed by guys off the street on off. They should be embarrassed. That offense should be embarrassed. 215-592-9494. All right, let's react together. Today's one of those days. Again, I haven't done this in 2 years around here. When an Eagles season ends, and it is... Yesterday stunk, man. Yesterday stunk. Kyle, what are you feeling this morning? No, it's not been a great morning. Nope. Not a great morning for a lot of people around here, but certainly for you.
Picking up the pieces in multiple ways.
Yep. What are you feeling?
Of my back windshield and this Eagles season. I mean, everybody should be able to get it today.
Everybody should be able to get it.
Well, honestly,
I'm not mad at you.
Kevin Patullo, that nonsense with him. Nick Sirianni fighting with the player on the sideline, just a complete embarrassment. A complete and utter embarrassment in front of the entire world, the entire national audience. That's a joke.
You sound like your dad mad at you.
Yeah. I mean, A.J. Brown stunk.
Yeah.
I thought Joe laid it out well, that final sequence in the game where Mr. plays his best when the lights shine the brightest. Didn't. I mean, he came up short. There was a moment in the game where Quinn Mitchell had 2 interceptions. They had 3 points off it. I mean, it's the same story as all season long. They let the defense down. They let us down. I mean, think about the team that the Niners rolled out there and took it to us. I mean, that it's so far from what the 2024 Eagles were, where we run this show.
Yep.
We're going to come in there and we're going to dominate you. You don't belong on this field with us. We didn't look like we belonged on the field for a lot of times with that Niners team. That was essentially a corpse. I mean, it's very, very difficult not to be embarrassed, and it's few and far between the amount of people who I'm not upset with today.
I mean, to sum it up, their best pass rusher yesterday was Bryce Huff, a guy that the Eagles couldn't use and paid money to get rid of. And he wasn't even great. He made one play the whole game. But that's how inept that defense was. That the Eagles should have scored in the 30s yesterday based on personnel. Their coaching stunk, and their players stunk yesterday. And I mean, Hugh, you said it, and I think everyone kind of agreed with you when you said it to start the show. We have all these great offensive players. Are we sure they're great? How many more games do we have to watch where they don't score points, and I'm supposed to sit here and say they're great players?
I think...
who's great right now?
I think the way that I look at this game is that's why coaching matters. Good coaching matters. Because I commend Coach Shanahan. You lose George Kittle.
He's a great coach. I know he doesn't have a ring yet. He's a great coach.
You lose George Kittle, and everybody's looking like, oh, okay, it's a different game. I had a cousin of mine from the Bay Area call me and say, while the game was going on, say, if y'all win out, y'all lucky George hurt. Now y'all, if George doesn't get hurt, y'all win the game. And I just kind of LOL because I was like, this don't feel like a beatdown to me. So as the game progressed, you see why coaches matter. I was telling you about a play this morning that they ran where they scored on the last one. I think it was they went trips right, and they had the leak out.
The McCaffrey
touchdown to the back. That was a beautifully designed play.
I mean, they had a trick play for a touchdown. The Juwan Jennings touchdown.
That was a beautifully designed play. Coaching matters in the NFL, especially when you have players, regardless of what people say, he's a tomato can or whatever. They're in the NFL for a reason. And what I saw on one side of the ball was some hell of an execution, some hell of a play calls by the offense against a really good defense. That was a hell of a chess match between Coach Fangio and Coach Shanahan.
Yep. They both won sometimes,
And when you have games like that, and your offense, You were gifted 2 interceptions that you did squatta with. You ain't do nothing with them. So after a while, when you're playing a game like that and you have a coordinator that's as good as both of those coordinators were, you're gonna have miscues. So I'm not mad at Big Fangio for that. This offense, man,
stunk. It stunk.
And then I saw one where Emmanuel Acho was talking about going 4 verticals and not having anything underneath.
Yeah, that was the final play. Yeah,
Joe, you have to be in games like this. Look at every other game that was played this weekend and the creativity that you saw from other offenses in times of need when they needed to score.
I know. Listen, I'm not taking – Patullo can pack his bags, right? I'm not taking him off the hook. But do we realize, that's a 4th and 11 because the quarterback had 3 bad plays, right?
No, I get it. I'm not taking him off. Not taking him off the hook.
Everyone's pointing that last play out and how Patullo is a moron. Did I miss Devontae open? Did I make that up? Or was Devontae wide open on the third down that Jalen missed? I mean, if Jalen makes the throw, we're not doing the 4th and 11 where everyone's pointing out how bad the play call was. I mean, guys, the quarterback has to make that throw. I don't know what to tell you. He's got to make the throw.